So 90% of construction businesses just, they don't survive their first 5 years.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It really is. It's this industry landscape defined by just massive attrition. But then right next door to the companies that are sinking, you have these like outlier operations.
Right, the ones that are actually scaling.
Exactly. They're scaling strategically, and they're seeing, 20 to 30% year-over-year revenue growth.
Which is huge.
Right. And the difference between those two realities isn't that the successful owners are like working 20-hour days or swinging a hammer faster than anyone else.
Oh, definitely not.
It's that they're operating on an entirely different structural blueprint. Welcome to this deep dive where our mission is to unpack that exact blueprint.
Yeah, the difference between the 90% that bleed out and the ones hitting that 30% growth, it's purely mechanical.
It really is.
We're looking at a masterclass strategy today. We call it the $10 million blueprint.
Right, because it's about evolving, right? From a hands-on contractor caught in that relentless daily grind into a strategic business owner building lasting wealth.
Generational wealth, really, because you simply can't change your business output until you change your operational mindset.
Yeah, it's like trying to build a 60-story high-rise using residential 2x4 framing.
That's a perfect analogy.
Right. At some point, working harder and driving more nails, it just doesn't work. The structure will literally collapse under its own weight.
Exactly. You have to completely change the architectural blueprints. And this new blueprint starts with the psychology of scaling.
Which means moving away from that blue-collar mindset, right? Where you are the chief firefighter on every single job site.
It's the only way to break past what is notoriously known in the industry as the $1 million revenue ceiling.
Oh, man. The $1 million ceiling. It's a real wall for so many.
It is, because when you're the primary engine of your business, when you're, doing the estimating at midnight, running the project management, taking every single client call, and then jumping into the physical labor when a subcontractor ghosts you.
Which happens all the time.
Right.
Okay.
You just run out of hours in the week. You literally become the ultimate bottleneck to your own company's growth.
And part of breaking that bottleneck is, it's redefining the finish line. The sources we're looking at refer to this as defining your freedom number.
Ah, yes. The CPF target.
Right. Comfort, peace, and freedom. And I want to be really clear here for everyone listening. This isn't some vanity metric of gross revenue.
No, not at all. I mean, gross revenue is the biggest ego trap in the entire construction industry.
Oh, 100%.
You hear contractors at the supply house all the time saying like, oh, I run a $2 million business.
But then you look under the hood.
Exactly. Their net profit is virtually zero. They have maxed out lines of credit, and they're taking home less pay than their own foreman.
It's crazy. So to calculate your actual CPF, your freedom number, you have to strip that ego away and work backward.
You really do.
So walk us through the actual math of that, because if you're drowning in day-to-day operations, sitting down to calculate a massive wealth target can feel totally overwhelming.
Yeah, it can. But you start by asking just one simple question. What annual passive income do you need to live comfortably with total peace of mind? Without ever having to swing a hammer or answer an angry client call again. Let's say that number is $250,000 a year.
Okay, $250K.
Now, assume a pretty conservative 5% return on your investments. To generate $250,000 a year at 5%, you need a liquid net worth of $5 million.
Wow. Okay, so the math is actually super straightforward.
It is. That $5 million is your freedom number. That's the destination.
Right.
Everything your business does from this moment forward is simply the vehicle built to get you to that exact number.
But, to reach a $5 million destination, that vehicle needs incredibly high-octane fuel.
Oh, absolutely.
Which brings us to the absolute necessity of rigorous financial fortification. I mean, you can't scale chaos, right?
It is definitely chaos.
And you certainly can't scale razor-thin margins. This blueprint targets robust net profit margins of 15 to 20%. And actually, according to Smart Business Automator's Market Intelligence Report, top 10% of contractors are achieving 18% or higher net margins.
And achieving that requires a complete overhaul of how you view a project's life cycle.
Right. What does that actually look like in practice?
Well, it means optimizing your bids so you aren't just, winning a race to the bottom.
Yeah, taking jobs just to take them.
Exactly. It means obsessive forensic cost control during the build. and leveraging your growing volume to negotiate aggressive deals with your suppliers.
Okay, I have to push back on that 18% number, though.
Sure.
Sounds amazing on a spreadsheet. But let's look at the gritty reality of a job site. Lumber prices can spike 12% in a single week.
Oh, yeah, we've all seen that.
Copper wiring goes missing. A client fights every single line item on your invoice. When the real world is that volatile, how does a contractor actually protect those margins from evaporating?
It's a great question. The secret to protecting your margin is having the power to say no.
Okay.
The power to say no only comes from proactive cash flow management.
Right, because if you're desperate.
Exactly. When you have a minimum of 3 to 6 months of operating expenses sitting in a cash reserve, you don't operate out of desperation.
That makes a lot of sense.
If a client tries to haggle you down to a 5% margin on a massive commercial build, a desperate contractor with payroll due on Friday will take that job just to keep the crew busy.
And they'll probably end up losing money on it.
Almost always. A fortified contractor, though, they'll just walk away.
So the cash reserves basically act as a moat around your margins.
Precisely. It's a financial moat. And you maintain that moat by implementing bulletproof receivables management.
Oh, meaning getting paid on time.
Yes.
Yeah.
You cannot let your clients treat your business like an interest-free bank.
Right.
You need tight payment schedules explicitly tied to specific, verifiable deliverables to ensure your liquidity never dries up.
But here's the friction point I see with this.
Okay, what is it?
You can have the best cash reserves in the world, and you can fight for an 18% margin. But if your project manager is spending 4 hours a day manually keying in receipts from the lumberyard,
Oh, yeah.
or they're digging through a truck console for a lost permit, you are hemorrhaging the very margin you just fought so hard to protect.
You really are.
Because high margins require ruthless operational efficiency. You can't pay your top talent to do manual data entry.
No, because human error and administrative bloat will just eat that 18% margin alive.
Literally.
This forces the necessity of automation. The goal outlined in this blueprint is to identify and automate 3 to 5 of your most critical business processes.
Like what? What are the big ones?
Usually estimating, invoicing, and complex scheduling. If you automate these correctly, you free up 10 to 15 hours per week for yourself and your leadership team.
Okay, let's clarify what we mean by the technology stack here.
Sure.
We're talking about implementing a solid CRM, right? A customer relationship management system to track your leads and client communications.
Yep, that's the foundation.
And then an ERP, an enterprise resource planning system, which acts as the central nervous system for your finances, inventory, and operations.
Right, but looking at Smart Business Automator's market intelligence report, the shift toward AI is completely changing how these operations run.
Oh, for sure. It's not just basic software anymore.
Exactly. We aren't talking about just digitizing carbon copy forms or moving from a physical filing cabinet to a digital folder on your desktop.
Right.
We are talking about highly intelligent automation that actually does the heavy cognitive lifting for your team.
I really want to dig into the how of that.
Yeah.
Because, the phrase AI in construction gets thrown around like a buzzword so much lately.
Oh, constantly.
But the actual mechanical capabilities are staggering when you understand them. Let's look at RFI, assistance requests for information.
the absolute bane of every project manager's existence.
Seriously. Usually, a sub finds a discrepancy between the architectural plans and the physical site.
Right.
The project manager then has to dig through a 400-page PDF, find the specific plumbing spec, reference an email from the architect from 3 weeks ago, and draft a response. It takes hours.
It's a huge time sink. But with an AI-driven system, the mechanism changes entirely.
How so?
Well, the AI has already ingested the entire project history. I mean, every email, every PDF spec book, every previous RFI.
Wow, okay.
So when the new RFI comes in, the AI uses natural language processing to just understand the plumbing issue.
It just gets it.
Yeah. It instantly cross-references the 400-page spec book, finds the exact architectural note from 3 weeks ago, and actually generates a highly accurate draft response.
Wait, it drafts the response for them?
Yes, it connects all those obscure dots in seconds. A human just reviews it, hits approve, and what used to be a 3-hour bottleneck becomes a 3-minute task.
That is wild. Or take change order impact analysis.
Oh, this is where margins go to die.
Literally, a client sends a casual email saying, actually, we want to move that load-bearing wall 3 feet to the left.
Just a casual nightmare.
Right. Historically, your team has to manually calculate the cost of new materials, call suppliers for current pricing, figure out how this delays the drywall team.
Check if it violates building codes.
Exactly. It's this massive forensic accounting project.
But under an AI blueprint, the system just reads that email.
Really?
Yeah. It immediately cross-references local building code PDFs to ensure moving the wall is even compliant.
Oh, wow.
It pings real-time supply chain databases for the current pricing of the required steel or lumber.
Okay.
It injects those new material costs into your budget to flag a variance, and it automatically shifts your critical path schedule to show exactly how this delays the drywallers.
All at once.
All of those calculations happen simultaneously under the hood.
So it's literally like giving your team a hyper-competent, tireless structural engineer and forensic accountant that works 24/7.
That's exactly what it is. It completely eliminates the administrative drowning that contractors are so used to.
That's incredible.
And when you connect this via API directly into your accounting software, the information flows seamlessly.
So no double entry.
None. The approved change order instantly generates the updated client invoice. Zero chance for a tired project manager to accidentally drop a zero and cost you $10,000.
Okay, so if this technology reclaims 15 hours a week for the business owner, what is the strategic move? You don't just take Fridays off to play golf, right?
I mean, you could, but no. The blueprint says you use that reclaimed time to build a resilient, self-sufficient machine.
Okay.
You hire for leadership roles, you empower those project managers, and you finally actually step away from the day-to-day operations.
But stepping away is incredibly difficult. I mean, there's a massive psychological barrier for a founder here.
Of course there is. Your name is literally painted on the side of the trucks.
Right. Your personal reputation is tied to the quality of the finish on a client's kitchen. Handing the reins to a newly hired project manager feels like a terrifying loss of control.
Because historically, delegation without visibility isn't stepping back, it's walking off the job site and just hoping the concrete pours itself perfectly.
Which is a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely. But having an automated tech stack fundamentally changes the safety of that delegation.
Because you still have eyes on it.
Exactly. These systems aren't just filing cabinets, they're like having a structural engineer sensor embedded directly into the foundation of your business.
I love that visual.
If a project's labor hours start drifting off schedule or material costs start eating into that 18% margin we talked about, the system pings your phone immediately.
So you don't have to hover over your project manager's shoulder all day.
Right. You only intervene when the sensors detect a fracture.
That is so freeing.
And once you have that autonomous, trusted team in place running on those systems, the next strategic imperative is revenue diversification.
Okay, expanding the net.
Yeah. If your entire operation is dependent on, say, new residential builds, and the housing market freezes due to interest rate hikes,
Which happens.
your business could be wiped out in 6 months. The blueprint strongly advises exploring alternative streams.
Like what?
Securing long-term commercial maintenance contracts, finding highly specialized, hard-to-replicate niches, or even leveraging your expertise to move into property development yourself.
Because doing that can reduce your market dependency by up to 30%, right?
It really can. Smart Business Automator's Market Intelligence Report highlights diversification as a key differentiator for stable growth.
It's about smoothing out that boom and bust cycle that traditionally just plagues construction.
Exactly.
If the bids for massive new projects dry up, your recurring commercial maintenance contracts provide this baseline of predictable cash flow.
Which keeps the lights on, keeps the crew paid, and keeps your cash reserves totally intact.
Which perfectly sets the stage for the final and really the most critical phase of this $10 million blueprint. When you have a fully delegated leadership team, an automated tech stack running the operations, and diversified recurring revenue streams, a massive paradigm shift occurs.
You're no longer just a contractor.
Right. You own a highly valuable, saleable asset. You are setting up a valuation and exit strategy from day one.
This is the core insight of the entire strategy. You aren't selling a construction company, you're selling an autonomous, cash flow engine.
And it's so fascinating because contractors are literally in the business of building structures designed to last for a century.
Yeah.
But they rarely apply that same day one architectural thinking to the business itself.
Well, because most contractors assume their business is only worth the liquidation value of their trucks, their excavators, and whatever tools happen to be in the shed.
Right.
And frankly, if the entire business relies on the institutional knowledge locked inside your head and your cell phone is the main dispatch center.
They're absolutely right.
Yeah. If a private equity firm looks at your business and sees that if you get hit by a bus, the revenue stalks, they will value your company at zero.
Zero. But what happens when they look at the business and see the automated systems we just talked about?
It changes the entire financial equation. The goal of this blueprint is to structure your operations to achieve a 3 to 5 times EBITDA multiple.
For those who might not know, EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, right?
Exactly. It's essentially a measure of your company's core operational profitability.
Okay.
If an acquiring firm or a larger competitor looks at your books and sees clean financial APIs, AI-driven risk mitigation, a diversified client base, and a leadership team that doesn't need you to function.
They aren't buying tools.
No, they're buying a turnkey system. That is how you command a 5 times multiple and hit that $5 million freedom number we talked about at the very beginning.
And building that turnkey system requires a commitment to continuous evolution. The blueprint is totally explicit about this.
You have to keep growing.
Right. To sustain your success and scale past that $10 million mark, you have to invest 5% of your annual profits directly back into continuous learning.
Because you can't reach this level by staying isolated.
Exactly.
The specific skills that got you from grinding out your first million are completely different from the skills required to manage a $10 million enterprise.
And the skills for 10 won't get you to 50.
Not a chance. The industry is transforming at a breakneck pace, especially regarding artificial intelligence and material logistics.
So investing that 5% into high-level peer groups, industry masterminds, and securing mentors who have successfully scaled beyond your current level.
It's the only way to ensure your operational blueprint doesn't become obsolete.
Because if you aren't actively updating your knowledge base, your competitors will engineer you right out of the market.
100%.
So we've laid out the entire blueprint.
We really covered a lot.
We started with the psychological shift required to step out of the daily fires. We mapped the precise math needed to calculate your freedom number.
The $5 million target.
Yep. We built the financial fortifications and cash reserves necessary to defend an 18% margin.
Crucial step.
And we looked under the hood of AI to see exactly how it eliminates the administrative bottleneck, allowing you to build an autonomous team and diversify your revenue.
Right.
And finally, we proved how all of those steps culminate in building a highly saleable turnkey asset.
It really is a profound structural transformation of a business. But the entire architecture hinges on your initial willingness to put the hammer down and look at your operations objectively.
Yeah.
So you should really sit with this final thought. If you had to walk away from your business for 6 months starting tomorrow, would your team and your systems be able to seamlessly run the operation? Or would it crumble into total chaos?
That's a heavy question.
Because true wealth in this industry isn't just the money the business makes while you're actively working, it's the intrinsic value the business holds when you don't have to.
If you know a contractor who is burning the candle at both ends, trying to break past that $1 million revenue ceiling, send them this episode right now. It could be the blueprint they need to reclaim 15 hours a week and find its scale. Then follow on whatever app you're listening on so you don't miss tomorrow's intel. And to see how AI can take the heavy lifting out of your admin, visit smartbusinessautomator.com.